Okay, we're live.
Hey everybody, welcome to Beastly Thoughts with Beastly Gamer, BriarRabbit, and today we have a special guest, Fig. Say hi, guys.
What's up? How you guys doing? Thanks for inviting me.
Real good. Oh man, I'm always enjoying myself. There's been a lot of stuff that's been going on in the last 7 days, and here we are today to cover it. And Fig, I've never seen your channel. BriarRabbit invited you to Beastly Thoughts, and thank you for joining us. Why don't you give me a little bit of background and some of our viewers a little bit of background into your channel, what it's about, and what you like to produce.
Sure. I'll love to. And thanks, Beastly. Thanks, Briar, for inviting me on. Pretty much, I'm the host of Digital Boundaries. My name is Figcoinc, and it's a variety channel. I focus on just gaming in general and community. I'm not about look at the great skills I have. It's about going down to brass tacks, down to what gaming is about, and it's about having fun. So be it I do really well, be it I do really bad, I just want to make sure fun is involved, community is involved, my what I call bounders, my followers are involved, and just kind of have a celebration of gaming as a whole. Because I think a lot of people, especially on YouTube and do gaming commentaries, have kind of forgotten about that. It's become very ultra critical, or they set the bar of gameplay like you must only pay attention to my awesome gameplay at all times, and not down to what it was when we started, when we were young, sitting in front of the TV, laughing and joking, sometimes making our own achievements, seeing what we could do, whatever, and just enjoying with it. So my channel has everything from retro to Call of Duty to pretty much whatever I decide playing at that moment. So that's pretty much the essence of my channel. It's bringing a relaxed, fun atmosphere back to gaming, and being a motivating force for the YouTube gaming community.
Wow. Fig, the video that I first watched, I think the one that really brought me to your channel was when you did Just One Life. I think it was for Battletoads.
Yes.
Which I think is a Herculean effort. And I remember you did pretty well.
Yeah, it was. Trust me, the luck that was demanded for that episode was amazing. The fact that I did pretty well was. There's a reason why at the end you heard me say I was going to flip a table, because I was pretty excited. It was pretty lucky that actually happened.
Recently, I actually watched you do a blindfolded playthrough of Super Mario Brothers, and you actually finished it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that is again 100% luck. I will tell everyone to the day, like, there was no cheating involved. I literally had a pair of shorts on my face. And what actually, like, the reaction that you saw that when I actually completed it was 100% legitimate. I was just like, it's like when I see, like, when every once in a while you'll see, like, on YouTube, and they'll show, like, this, this guy from Japan who completed the entire game in a different room, or just something crazy like that. They must have played that game forever, because I gave myself about 3 hours to train, and the fact that I did it was just amazing. So
yeah, that was a pretty good video. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Now,
yeah,
this is something I definitely have to see. I really want to see it. Now, it wasn't just it wasn't random button presses or anything. It was you actually going through the level and playing it like you're supposed to.
Well, kind of, sort of. It was pretty much when I do a Just One Life video, and for all the viewers, Just One Life is a series I do every once in a while. My work schedule kind of makes it tough to do it a whole bunch, but pretty much it's a challenge series that people give me challenges in the comment section. They'll just say, hey, beat Mario blindfolded, Mario level 1-1 blindfolded, and I'll try it. So I'll give myself about 3 to 5 hours to practice. So,
wow, that sounds really awesome, man.
Yeah, so I'll sit there and I'll blindfold myself, but then I'll tell everybody the truth is, when I do it, I could succeed, I could get close, or I could die within the first 10 seconds. Whatever happens in the actual try is what's going to happen.
Okay, wow, okay, so there's no preemptive setup, you just go.
Yeah, it's no preemptive. Like I said, I'll practice a bunch, and I'll actually show, like, a snippet or of me, like, practicing, or at least kind of like a comic version of me practicing. But when I actually do the real recording for the main part, that's it. So I'm expecting one day of me absolutely failing within the first 10 seconds. It'll be the shortest Just One Life ever.
I actually think that would make for a really good video.
yeah. I was just like, so when I finished the blindfolded for Mario, it was just 100% luck. I mean, I trained to kind of like, hey, I remember if I jump a certain length, I can make it, but it's so up in the air that, you'll see. If you look at the practice mode, you'll see, like, I think I'm going somewhere, but I'm not going anywhere at all.
Just jumping in front of a brick wall like this?
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm like, man, I'm doing really good.
Wow. Now, you mentioned Mario, and during the pre-show, BriarRabbit mentioned to me that you do a lot of retro gaming. What type of retro systems do you play on?
Pretty much anything I can get my hands on. I love obviously the original Nintendo. It's probably my most favorite one. Super Nintendo. I'm a big Super Nintendo guy because that's what I grew up with. I also but I only could get it done working in emulation, unfortunately, because I haven't found the controllers yet. But a TurboGrafx 16. And I played.
Was Keith Courage on that? I'm trying to remember.
Matter of fact, I have a series called Retro Remix, and I did one on Keith Courage. And Retro Remix is my kind of part review, part live play, micro let's play, where I go through a game, talk about the history of the game, maybe some facts that people never heard about, and I just talk about what it meant to me, kind of what it's affecting the industry. And since it's a live play, it's also a mini let's play of anything that happens, glitches and all. I just kind of showcase it.
Wow, okay. And I got a quick question for you because you are a retro gamer. I myself am. What are your thoughts on the original Castlevania series?
Oh, man. Part 1, great, amazing game, groundbreaking. Part 2, here's the funny thing. People bash on Part 2. Yes, it wasn't the best game out there, but when I was a little kid, I beat Part 2 in one sitting.
Whoa.
That's my favorite Nintendo game.
Yeah.
Simon's Quest.
Yeah, Simon's Quest. People bash it. It's just because it wasn't very good, like, direction. They didn't really tell you exactly where to go or how to do things, but the exploration in the game was, you didn't see that before until, like, Metroid.
I would call the direction of Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest, it was like one of the first 2D open world games.
Exactly.
You really could go anywhere, and you'd end up going to a location that you couldn't get past, and then you had to start thinking. And back in those days, I was a kid. I didn't know anything about strategy guides. And my older brother, he got this information from a friend of his in school, and we pulled out the I forget which diamond it was, and crouched at the end of the wall, and that little tornado came.
Yep.
Mind blown.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. The one that did it for me was the underwater castle where you could squat down. And it's that lake, and you could see that something's underneath there, but every time you jump in, you'll die, and then all of a sudden you had that orb, and all of a sudden it opened up, and I'm like, okay, this game is amazing.
Yeah, my mind was blown.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Castlevania, BriarRabbit?
I played the first 2 on the NES. I do not remember them in the detail that you guys do, though. That is relatively impressive. I actually recently played, I think it was Castlevania 4 for the Super Nintendo. I downloaded it on the Wii, like the download service, and to be honest with you, it was hard to go back.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't fault you there. For me, it's more of a nostalgia. I love my old games, man. I don't play them like I like to, but every now and then when I get a little extra time, I will throw an old cartridge in just to go Streets of Rage.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you know what I'm really loving is that I recently downloaded Guacamelee. I got it for the PS Vita and the PS3. And, man, I cannot believe how evocative that game is of, like, the Metroid Castlevania series.
Yeah.
But with all updated graphics, updated play mechanics, it feels like a brand new game, but it also has a nostalgia factor. And I think that's where my gaming love is. Last month I was playing a ton of Zelda, A Link Between Worlds, and that was really bringing me back to my childhood, but with updated play mechanics again and graphics so that I didn't have to play the old one. I had the same feelings of nostalgia, but I got all the new stuff, and I'm kind of digging that feeling right now.
Yeah, and then for me, one of the reasons, matter of fact, I just made a video recently called Why Retro, and kind of, in short, explained why I like playing retro games on my channel. And part of it's nostalgia. I mean, that's a big part, but I think it goes deeper with that for people who really love retro games. I kind of go by the rule of a good game is a good game no matter how old it is. Yeah. I mean, Tetris is a good game. They made Tetris forever. Pac-Man is a good game. They make Pac-Man forever. The mechanics are what matters. The memorability of the characters are what matters. And I think making sure that we kind of showcase, have an area on YouTube to showcase old games, even the bad ones, to show where the industry is getting their kind of inspiration from, because people forget. Many of the people who are making games now are people who grew up in the late 70s, 80s, and even 90s playing a lot of these games. So games like Guacamelee shouldn't be a surprise, because there is a kid out there who's sitting there going, who played Symphony of the Night, who played Metroid, and said, I want to make this game, and I want to make it my way. And now they're getting the chance to do it. So I think retro is awesome for that.
Have you guys gotten a chance to play that game, Guacamelee?
No, I have never played it. Never played it.
I have the game. I only played it for like a second, but I know a couple people who have, and pretty much what you said is right on point. It's an awesome game, and it's basically a Metrovania.
Yeah, it is, and they intentionally call back a lot of old games. Like there's a princess is your princess is in another castle joke. There's a lot of Metroid jokes. Even the power-ups that you get come from Metroid-like statues. It's really, they do a nice job of calling back the old, but really updating it too. And I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, and that's what the indie scene is all about. Indie scene is all about that right about now.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the PlayStation, there's tons of new indie games coming out. But Guacamelee, you definitely recommend it, BriarRabbit?
Oh, absolutely. It's cross-buy, actually, for the PS3 and the PS Vita. I just bought a PS Vita, and I would recommend playing it on the PS3 just because it is you have to have dexterity to play this game. You've got to hit like four or five buttons during a single jump to do what you want to accomplish at times. You actually have to do combos for jumps.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a tough game toward the end, but it is really fun. It's really rewarding because you feel like you're getting better at the game. It's not just your characters getting OP to the point where you can just walk through anything. You actually have to progress your skills at the game to keep progressing, and it's not an experience we see too often in games right now.
No.
So it's kind of like I liken it to games like Elder Scrolls, where the difficulty kind of raises with your level, character level.
No, because your character does get a little bit more health as you progress, and you can gain the ability to do more special moves as you go. But what they do is they keep adding play mechanics. So you start off with a certain combo that you can do, and then you've got to add button presses to beat harder enemies. So by the end of the game, I'm hitting 6 buttons just to like break the shields of an enemy. Never mind actually killing them. And then I got to switch like mid combo between like the dark world and the light world. It's fun. It's challenging though. You really have to get better at the game, and it's easier for me on the PS3 controller, maybe because I'm more used to the controller. The Vita is still very new to me, but also this thing is basically a medieval torture device. Trying to get my thumbs to do it. I had to buy a grip. I don't know if you could see that there.
Yeah.
And that helps somewhat, but it's like the problem is your thumbs are kind of way out here, whereas on a regular controller you're kind of over here. Your thumbs are kind of over here, and so that makes it challenging.
All right, so let me ask you a question. We know you were playing Zelda last week. Did you beat that game?
Not yet. I'm still playing it.
Okay, well my son gave up, and you bit the bullet, and now you got your Vita, and you got your Vita on clearance, correct?
Yeah, it was on clearance at Best Buy, which was really nice. And I had some Best Buy reward points, and I figured, well, I might as well get this thing for nearly half price. And I know that the new one is coming. It's going to have an LCD screen. It's going to be lighter, have longer battery life. But to be honest with you, I wanted the older one with the OLED screen.
Yeah.
And so getting this Vita, you got Guacamelee. You getting the other games?
Yeah, I got Tearaway, which is really fun. I'm playing that. I'm really early in that one, but just the play mechanics of this are so inventive. Being able to like poke your fingers up through the bottom of the Vita to play the game is really fun. It's very cute. It's nice that you can really customize your character. Give me a second here. I got actually a few games. And I'll look at them. I got Uncharted. That was free with PlayStation Network membership. That was nice. I haven't played it yet though. Proteus I downloaded. That is bizarre, but kind of cool. It's like I think $3.50 right now, so not a bad. Gravity Rush I downloaded but haven't played yet. Spelunky and Terraria I've downloaded and played only a very limited amount of.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, Gravity Rush, that's free on PlayStation Plus right now too, right?
Yeah, that's right. Both Uncharted, Golden Abyss, and Gravity Rush are free right now.
They're giving away all the games I paid for. Damn you, Sony!
Yeah, PlayStation Plus is one of the best deals out there. I mean, when I first heard about it, I was like, I mean, how are they gonna compete, especially when their online was free compared to Xbox? I'm like, what are they gonna do? And they answered. It's like, here, everything. Just have free games all day long.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I booted up the PlayStation Vita, I had a bunch of games, full games that I could play.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
They're definitely winning when it comes to, you know, the amount that they give you for that annual premium. I mean, it's $10 cheaper than the Xbox Live service. You get games that you get to keep retroactively as long as you keep your PlayStation Plus. So you download them now; those are yours until you get tired of paying for them.
Yeah,
so, I mean, it's
even
really
if you don't have a system that they're available on, you can download it to a different system and have it sitting there waiting for you.
Yeah,
exactly.
Awesome. Well, the way it works is once you download it, it stays in your download section forever.
Yeah.
So you can download a game that you really don't want to play right now. You can delete it immediately, then fill that memory stick with a game that you actually want to play. And then when you get bored of that, you can go back into the PlayStation Store, hit the download button, and play that game. So it's really awesome how Sony's working that out. I think probably in the future Microsoft is going to adapt even better model than they're doing now, because they're giving away 2 games per month too, but they're not doing nearly as much.
I was thrilled because Microsoft is giving away the Tomb Raider game, and then I realized, wait a minute, this Tomb Raider game is like 3 years old. I was like, oh yeah, they're giving away the new. Oh wait, no, this isn't the new one.
Yeah. Hey, but at least Microsoft is doing something to compete on that level, and that's what matters.
Yeah. I think it's good for all of us. Me personally, like most people know, I don't have an Xbox One. I got a PS4, but I will have an Xbox One, and hopefully by the time I buy it, it'll be a little bit more value in the Xbox Live Gold service. As of right now, it's not too bad. I think they gave away Sleeping Dogs this month, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And something else I'm trying to remember. But I know Sleeping Dogs is a really good game. I got it, never beat it. But, I mean, it's worth it, you know, especially for those who always wanted to try it, never had, you know, the money to buy it and can download it for free. I think it's a great service.
I hate doing that. It's buying a game and then not being able to finish it, like either because of time constraints or, you know, you just move on to the next game that you're really excited about, and then you just see it and you feel guilty about it. You're like, oh, man, I wish I had time to go finish that, but I'm playing this game now, and I'm really enjoying that.
Yeah, that's how I feel about my Steam folder. I have an entire collection of Steam games, and it's ridiculous. It's like I looked at right now, and I think I'm up to like 130. After 5 years, I'll be on Steam.
Whoa.
Wow, that's
Steam sales are the worst for that, because you buy like 6 games during a Steam sale, you play them for about 5 minutes. Okay, let me check out the next one. Let me check out the next one, and then all of a sudden you're on to one, and the other 4 are just sitting there in your.
Yeah, that's literally what's been going on. It's like, oh, you mean Tomb Raider is only $5? Okay, I'll buy it. It's $5. Why not? And next thing you know, I'm like, it's there.
They include those kind of games in the humble bundles. Me personally, I just started my Steam account. When this new laptop came, I said, oh, okay, I'll go ahead and do it. I'll bite that bullet. And I got 3 or 4 games in my Steam account. But let me ask you a question, Fig. You have you said 130 or 160?
It's like 130 games.
You got 130 games. Do you see the value in having a Steam machine with that many games that you can download directly to the system, or no?
Not yet. I think Valve understands this, and I think the weird thing has been going on with the Steam machines is that I think a lot of people are like, oh, they're going to be a new console competitor to the PS4 and the Xbox One, but I think Valve has something bigger in mind. They're not really caring about Xbox and One. They're after Microsoft. They're after Windows. And I think that's what the Steam machine is. People think of a box of the Steam machine. That's not the Steam machine. The Steam machine is the OS. It is the Linux-based OS system. And what they want is in the next decade to have all these people who are bringing games over to Steam, because even though there's other avenues to buy games out there like Green Man Gaming and Good Old Games and all that kind of stuff, Steam has really become PC gaming. Let's be honest. Steam is PC gaming now.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things of if they can make all these people make the games for the Steam OS, and most people who have high-end PCs only play games on it, why do you need Windows?
That's a good point.
That's
And
very-
I'm sure that Microsoft is really scared about that, but I don't know who you actually sell these Steam boxes to. The people who play Steam have PCs, and you can install Steam OS on any PC.
Yeah.
Who are you going to sell the box to?
Well, and that's the thing, because that's why I think Valve is being smart about this, because they didn't make the machine. People think Steam Machine, oh, Valve made it. They made the controller. They made the OS. Now they're reaching out to all these, third-party computer builders like, Falcon and Alienware and all this kind of stuff, so they could take the risk of making a machine. So that's why you have all these Steam machines. Valve isn't risking anything. So if, for whatever reason, the Steam box falls flat, but people like the OS, Valve still wins, and they didn't have to spend a dime for any bit of hardware other than the controller.
Wow. Well, that's very, very deep. Well, they also announced, too, for some of the people like BriarRabbit and myself who don't think that controller is going to be, prepared for console gaming, that these other 14 third-party developers are going to develop their own controllers for their individual Steam boxes. So, yeah. But with that point you made is very, very pointed point, that they really don't have a risk of really a failure, because all the money that may be lost is on these developers making these consoles. Wow.
Yeah, and if you think of it, since Gabe Newell said multiple times that the Windows 8 was basically an attack on people like Steam and Origin, because Windows wanted to make their own store, kind of like the App Store, which would basically make Steam not needed. Steam basically is putting their flag down, saying, "Hey, gamers, if you don't like what Windows is doing, come to our side, and if they can make just a little bit of impact, Windows would never ever try to challenge Steam in that area, because to be very honest, the most casual PC users, they're not buying big desktops anymore. They're not even really buying laptops anymore. They're buying tablets.
Yeah.
So Steam really wants to say, hey, we're going to take over the main desktop laptop world in the next decade. You can handle all the tablets, because we don't give two craps about the tablets. We just want to make sure that all the games are coming here. So I think Steam is making a preemptive strike, and I think what a lot of people are like, oh, what is the Steam Machine for? Steam Machine is not for now, because PCs don't expire. PCs don't have console generations. So they could run it for 10, 20 years and chip away slowly but surely, and that's still the Steam box.
Wow. Okay, so what are your predictions on the outcome of the Steam box preemptive strike?
I think it's going to be probably something of not right away. I think it's for the first 5 years, I think it's just going to hover around. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. But I think as time goes on, in the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox whatever they call it era,
Xbox Zero.
Xbox Zero. I mean, they'll probably call it the Xbox 2, just because why not? And I think that's when they're going to make the impact. I think there's going to be variations of controller, and I think in the very end, I think Steam is actually probably going to win, but not in the way that they're hoping. I think they're just going to put a big markdown of PC users come here, because people are already arguing, is there going to be any more consoles after this generation? Because everything is becoming a PC. I mean, if you look at the PS4 and if you look at the Xbox One, they're nothing but PCs now.
Yeah.
So, why not make Valve its own separate PC?
But what about the Nintendo Wii U?
Oh, Nintendo. Nintendo.
Did you guys hear anything about their financial statements this week? How they're really thinking about changing up their business?
Yeah, but we talked about this before, BriarRabbit.
Yeah.
And you and I thought that wasn't even a possibility at one point. I'm talking about a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
The possibility of this Wii U being stamped closed and then moving on to other ventures seems like it's more of a reality now. And it's crazy, because this will be the first time Nintendo has ever felt the pinch this badly that they even consider abandoning a console to move on to other ventures. What do you think about this?
Man, I don't know. I kind of think a lot of people are talking that they should ditch the pad like that, the game pad that they have on the Wii U, discount the price to $200 or $250, and then continue to sell the Wii U. But I almost think the Wii U is a write-off at this point. Maybe support it until you get that next console out, but that next console has to be special. They have had a string of consoles that
Haven't stacked up.
They haven't. The Wii U was very successful, but it was very successful with a casual market. They had people buying that console that weren't gonna buy software, so they sold that on a game. They sold it on Wii Sports, and it was very successful. Wii Sports was a great game. A lot of people really wanted to play it. People were spending double what the cost of that console was at launch to get that game in their house. But after that, it didn't offer much. It still had Nintendo games, but we were in an era of HD graphics, and they were still 480. Now we're in an era of next gen, and they're just coming up to the level of 360 and PS3. And my thought is that they should continue to support the Wii U as is. They should not ditch that gamepad because it's the only thing they got going for them on the Wii U. But they need to really think hard about what that next console is, and they got to get it out in like 2 years.
Yeah, they need to do something soon because people who are saying, oh, they need to abandon the Wii U right now, that'll be the worst thing in the world because
you lose customers. You lose your customers. Everybody's like, well, I'm not going to buy their next console unless it's a success, and then it's not a success. This is what happened to the Dreamcast, in my opinion, is they lost their customers because they abandoned so many consoles so quickly.
Exactly.
They lost all the faith in their customers, and Nintendo has no history of this kind of action. And I think doing that right now would show weakness. And yeah, they would lose a lot of respect and trust of their consumer base if they were to abandon ship so quickly. I think I agree with you, BriarRabbit. They need to hold down the fort for now, accept their losses, but focus on a next console that will supersede the power of the current PS4 and the Xbox One. Definitely.
I'm sorry, Fig, for interrupting you. What were you going to say?
No. I was going to agree because with Nintendo right now, again, like you guys said, they've never felt this pinch before. The only time they ever got close of feeling this pinch was in the GameCube era, but they made the console cheap enough that they still were profitable. This time around, they're not being profitable. They're losing money. People forget that when they made that financial report, I think about a year and a half ago, that was the first overall loss Nintendo has ever had since I think like 1988. And that's amazing for any company to have that type of record. So, but I think the problem is in the upper management, Iwata. Yes, you don't want to just throw him out right away because he had all those years of success, but his mindset is in 20 years of the past. They are treating the publishers still like they're second-class citizens, like they're Nintendo, you come to us. Yeah. And when you have people like the head of Bethesda and you have Gearbox basically saying that you don't just make a machine now and tell us, okay, now make a game for it. You have to work with us even beforehand. They're not going to do it anymore because they're doing stuff that Sony and Microsoft are begging these publishers. Power now is in the publishers. It's not in the system makers anymore. And Nintendo still holds fast. And the other problem is that it comes out of Iwata's mouth a bunch of times. And you can look at it on record. He still says that the Nintendo is a toy, not a multimedia machine. So while Sony and Microsoft are multimedia trillion-dollar companies, you got Nintendo here still thinking that they're a toy, which is good in some respects. It kind of Mario and whatnot. It's a good PR thing. But in business, you can't act that way. And it ruins things. And I think the sad thing is this industry would be in great pains if Nintendo left the hardware market. I mean, entirely. We need a Nintendo. We need that in there. But the problem is they're running this company as if no one could touch them, and now reality's smacking them in the face.
Yeah. I also think that they got hit by Minecraft really hard. I mean, Minecraft took over their market in a way that I don't think anybody saw coming. Every kid under 15 wants to be playing Minecraft, and that's on the PC or on the well, even Xbox 360 has it. But I have two 12-year-olds in this house, and when I talk to them, and when I talk to their friends, and when I go on photo shoots and I'm talking to other younger kids, they're playing Minecraft. That is the game.
Yeah.
You know, Nintendo doesn't factor into it anymore.
And you have to also look at the handheld market. People say, "Oh, the DS is great," but the latest, I think it was like the DS is like almost at a 50%. The 3DS is at a 50% growth rate compared to the DS, which is still good because the DS was a monster beyond all comprehension. But still, when their sales overall are like, I think it's the latest financial was like 50% lower. Of sales for 3DS games, that's bad because you know where it's going to? It's going to iOS and Android devices. Well, and that's where the kids are going to now.
Yeah.
Well, I think they need to watch these early trends, and it is true that upper management Nintendo seems to have an elitist mentality when it comes to dealing with these publishers, and that's been something that they've been notorious for many, many years. Third-party support and treating publishers like you said, second-class citizens. I think someone in those offices with a little bit of power needs to give somebody a reality check, and it sounds like they are. I mean, they've released their financial reports. You see the sales, and everything is in decline. So at this point, they've got to change the recipe to get a different dish. So I'm really excited to see what they're going to do.
Are they still stuck in the days when a publisher had to earn the Nintendo seal of approval?
That's pretty much kind of where they are. They're pretty much waiting people to say, you have to come to us. And when you have EA basically straight out, like not even hiding it, saying, nope, we're done, that's huge.
Yeah.
You're not getting NBA Live, you're not getting FIFA, you're not getting Madden, you're not getting Battlefield, you're not getting SimCity. I mean, some of those have some negative connotations there. I mean, those are big names that you're just not getting.
Yeah, and the worst part is, if you remember before the Wii U was announced, how many people were excited? Even people who were hardcore Microsoft and Sony fans were excited for the new Nintendo because everyone deep down wants Nintendo to knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter how fanboy you are, if Nintendo said, here's our system as strong as the PS4 and Xbox One with single-on logins, a great network system, and you get to play Zelda, Mario, Pikmin, all this stuff, I'll tell you right now, Microsoft and Sony will be pooping themselves like crazy.
Yeah.
But they don't do it because they don't have the resources as Microsoft and Sony, let's be honest. And two, the management doesn't want to take that huge risk.
Well,
so what do you guys think they should do? We've talked about like what they've done wrong. What do you guys think they should do? Moving on from here on out, what should they change? How are they going to get us back?
Well, I think personally Nintendo needs to change their whole image. They have been notorious for being the video game company that treats their their developers like crap. They need to send out a whole clan of members to change this image and make it real for the consumer. They also, personally, I think they need to do something about the Wii U. It's not something that many people are excited for. There aren't many good games on it. And right now there's a cloud above the console. Most people who think about the Wii U, you usually don't think how great it is. You think about, God, it's sitting over on the shelf and not doing anything. It's a paperweight. So they need to focus on getting good games out in 2014, games that people actually want to play. And hopefully within the next year or two, start focusing on the next iteration of the Nintendo console. Because Nintendo, throughout the history of the company, has been synonymous with fun. That's what Nintendo is. When you think about Nintendo, I was born in 1980. When I think about it, I think about some of the greatest and most fun moments growing up as a kid playing these games that really touched me and gave me such a wild imagination. And they've kind of lost that. The only thing that they ever do now is regurgitate a Mario game every few months. And I think that they need to become original again. I think they need to get people in there like Miyamoto who have a vision and let them go crazy and win over the consumers again.
Yeah. How about you, Fig? What do you think?
I think it's twofold. I agree with pretty much everything BC Gamer said, is that they need the games, they need to change their image, they need to start working with these publishers to bring them back. But what I think they need to do on the business side of things is to bring in new blood. There's too many people there, I think, who lost sight of how Nintendo got to where they were. They look at what they started, and they think because they were the stalwart, they're the ones who saved the gaming industry back in the 80s, that they go hold that flag forever. And that's not how business works. You need to innovate. You need to be flexible. and if things happen, you need to change. So and I personally think that they need to do what Sony did. With the old PlayStation 3, one of the reasons why PlayStation 3 had so many issues in the beginning was because of the upper management doing the cell technology, doing this weird OS system that, you know, it was so hard to make games for because it was one of those. Sony had PlayStation and PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3 obviously was going to be the #1 system in the world and then Microsoft came around and said, you know what, we're going to do our own thing. And what happened? They actually had to put a new CEO in charge. And now look what's happening. They brought in an American designer to design the PlayStation 4. So they remade the entire OS to be more friendly for the designers, and they're doing everything they can to stay profitable and to make sure that the gamers are happy. Nintendo needs to have, I believe, an upper management change before any PR, anything like that, because without that, that's not going to trickle down to everything else they do. They could change their PR marketing all they want to help the Wii U. They could survive the Wii U. They can't survive the next one if they keep on this track.
Well, that's an awesome point you made up, and let me elaborate on that a little bit personally. When you look at Sony's design and the way that they're marketing the PS4, they are appealing to multiple areas. They appeal to developers. They appeal to indie developers. They appeal to the consumer, and their hardware appeals to techies like us and people who like to have a powerful system. Nintendo is failing on basically every one of those avenues. They are losing consumers because they refuse to put out games that people really want and people want to play. They are pushing a hardware that is dated, extremely dated compared to what is available now, and they have no third-party publishers on their side. So they need to do a complete 180. You know, they need to go in the door, turn around, and walk right back out and change multiple aspects of the way they're running their company.
Yeah. You know, I'd like to see them short-term open up the eShop to be a subscription service for, let's say, $10 a month. You could play any Nintendo game from, let's say, the GameCube era backward, right? That would be, I would play Wii U all the time. If I could play any classic Nintendo game, I would be jumping on the Wii U. Yeah. Then, going forward, I think it's time to start developing a new handheld and a new console that work together as a single unit. So they have the gamepad situation similar to what they have with the Wii U, but now your next gen 3DS is actually going to communicate with your next gen Wii U, whatever they name it. The next console has to be powerful enough to compete. You know, we're getting into an age where PCs have graphic cards that are stunning. The graphics that you can see on a PC right now are absolutely unbelievable. The PS4 and the Xbox One, they have to surpass those graphics with the next console, and they have to do it soon. And they have to integrate their handheld with their console to make a real reason to buy both of these, because they're getting heavy competition on both fronts. On the console front, the PS4, the Xbox One are really hitting them hard, and on the handheld side, the cell phones are hitting them hard. So if they make a real argument, hey, you can get the best console here, you can get the best handheld here, they work together. If you own them both, they're even better, similar to what the PS Vita is doing with the PS4, and it's you get all the classic games for a low monthly fee. So all your favorite Nintendo games are here. I mean, I would sign up for that right now.
I think one thing that for Nintendo, the biggest reality check of them all, and it's not going to happen like right now, but give it about 5-6 years, and it's going to be a huge reality check with them, is that, like you said, the subscription service. Play all those classic games. Well, the people who are going to be buying games, the future 20-year-olds, most people forget about this. How long was the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 around? Almost 8 years. There are people right now who their first system was a PS3 and Xbox.
Yep.
What connection do they have to Nintendo at all, other than possibly Pokemon? And that's it.
I have a couple of 12-year-olds, and their first system was the Wii. They didn't get a 360 right off the bat because it was too mature. You know, I got them a 360 when I entered the picture, but they were playing the Wii U. They were still playing Mario. They were Mario Kart, Smash Brothers. They were playing the Nintendo franchises that came out with the Wii U. Super Mario Galaxy was a powerful franchise for them, and it still is. But they did get sucked away by Minecraft.
Yep, and that's the thing that Nintendo has to watch out for, is that the demographic of what they always relied on, which was usually the younger kids and people who had great nostalgia of their growing up, we're turning into our 30s, our 40s, our 50s, and after a while, we're not gonna. I mean, we still love Mario, but we're not gonna buy a $250 system to play Mario anymore.
Especially when it's all emulated on the internet, you know. You can
Exactly. So Nintendo has to be smart. They need to innovate. It doesn't mean they need to start becoming another Call of Duty or Titanfall machine. But what they need to do is to, like you said, bring in more publishers so they can have their strong titles of Mario on top of all these third-party games, because then you have the best of both worlds. They got a library of games that Microsoft and Sony would beg to have. They would do anything in their power, pay trillions of dollars to have their library. And Nintendo knows it. But also Nintendo forgets is that their market is growing up, or the market has no connection to Nintendo anymore, unlike we do. And they need to make sure the third parties are brought in so that they could experience the good stuff of Nintendo.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So let me ask you, what do you think Nintendo needs to do in order to attract these publishers again? Because they've gotten so much bad blood. I mean, I know EA came out on the record and said that we're not developing anything for the Wii U. How do you go from that to an amicable relationship where you're working in tandem with a producer that at one point didn't want to touch you with a 10-foot pole?
Was that to me or?
Oh, whoever.
Oh.
I'm just letting it all come out.
Well, for me, I honestly think that Nintendo needs to, and I think they're beginning to get this right now. They need to take a big spoonful of humble pie, and they need to come to these publishers. They need to lower their restrictions. They need to lower all these weird barriers they've set up that Sony and Microsoft has let down, and publicly said they have let down their guard to make sure that these publishers could produce the games that they want on their system. They need to lower the price a little bit more of the Wii U. Even they're making a loss right now. Yeah, lower the price is going to hurt, but they need to have some competitive, because when your top-selling games on a machine is the remake of a GameCube game and a new Mario, you're in trouble.
I think they're going to have to show up with a bag of cash. Like, hey, EA, we'll pay you this amount of money to bring these games to the Wii U.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that the Assassin's Creed Black Flag didn't show up is huge. The fact that a game like Battlefield didn't show up on there, even if it's a limited version compared to the PlayStation 4 and X, didn't show up, and that pad would have been perfect for Battlefield, is huge. They need to open it up. They also need to open it up more to indie games. They've been more friendly to indie developers, but if they could become what Sony's trying to do, be the magical place of indie developers, almost as friendly as Steam, that's going to help out a lot. And that's what they need. It really comes down to games, because once you have the games, people will buy the machine. And once people buy the machine, the big AAA developers will say, okay, it is profitable for us. Because right now, it's all about money. And if they can't show EA and Activision that they can make money putting it on this machine, why should they even do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think what Sony is doing right now with their cross-buy and their cross-play with the PS Vita, the PS3, and the PS4, I think they're knocking it out of the park right now. In more ways than one, they can't keep PS4s on the shelves right now, and the fact that I can pay $20 for Guacamelee and play it on either the PS Vita or the PS4 or the PS3. Some games even have cross saves, which I think is a phenomenal idea. If I want to play while I'm on the go, why do I have to play through the same section twice? That's like, how is Nintendo not doing that?
Sony's being extremely smart right now.
Yeah.
And the best part about this is that they changed Microsoft. It wasn't just the fact that we as gamers stood up to their crazy DRM, always on type of thing. It was the fact that Sony didn't follow instead. Sony just basically get the big middle finger, and that changed Microsoft to the better. Now Microsoft, the Xbox One, is a viable machine. It's a good machine to get. I mean, it always was, but there was so many catches involved. Why would anyone choose that over the PS4? Now that the PS4 is doing all the right things, Microsoft is slowly adopting a lot of these policies, which again shows that competition is always best when it comes to these things. But Sony's on a roll. Sony learned so much with the bad stuff they did early on with the PlayStation 3 that now they're implementing full force in the PlayStation 4, and I think it's good for the industry.
I think Sony ate their humble pie, and they learned a solid lesson. Anybody else hearing an echo, or is that just me?
I'm hearing a little echo.
Are you? Is anybody broadcasting through their speakers?
No.
No.
Okay. I don't know where it's coming from. Maybe it's just Google Plus. Hopefully, it's not getting recorded.
Now, me personally, I think that Sony taught Microsoft even more than that. Sony changed all the DRM restrictions on the Xbox One once fans voiced their opinion. They also changed the way Xbox Live service is running. We spoke about this earlier. Xbox Live initially did not have anything free. You just paid a premium to be online and play, to have access to the online component of these games. And once the PlayStation Plus was announced and people started to see the value of all these free games that BriarRabbit was talking about and that I've got and that you've got, Microsoft, what could they do at that point? They're charging $10 more per year, and you're not getting nearly as much. Then all of a sudden they jumped ship and they joined, the same mindset of Sony. So I think as far as the consumer, as long as we continually voice our opinion and voice our disdain for anything that goes against the grain of gamers, Sony seems to be very accessible. They seem to be very consumer centric. They like to appear or appeal to their consumer. As long as they do that and they continue that mindset, they're going to make tons of money, and Microsoft is going to follow suit. So I think the whole paradigm of the video gaming industry is being changed from within. It's a 360, no pun intended.
But one thing I will say when it comes to the Microsoft side is that while that did have some influence, if you look at the Xbox One, which, let's be honest now, Microsoft is pretty much all geared on the Xbox One, making sure that's becoming the next success. They are really not bringing a lot of those games for gold onto Xbox One at this time. It's still kind of a barren sea when it comes to that. And also, they're charging $10 more, but if you really look at it and you talk to people who are buying Xbox Ones, the number one thing they hear about that, they don't mind paying that $10 more because they feel more secure of their data on the Xbox system than they do the PlayStation Network because of the giant hack that happened during PlayStation 3.
That was a big faux pas.
Yeah, Sony right now, one of the things that they're doing right now, and they're doing all these great things, Sony needs to prove that their PlayStation Network is on par with the Xbox One because Microsoft doesn't need to prove that. They've kind of proven with the Xbox 360 how great. I mean, yes, the PlayStation 3 one was free, but the Xbox 360 had the overall better online experience. Now it's up to Sony to show that not only do we match it, that it's even better. And right now, if you talk to people who have Xbox One that have issues with gating parties and the Skype integration nonsense and all that kind of stuff, it is prime opportunity for Sony to do this. If they could do that, and on top of that have those free for games, they'll pull a lot of hardcore Xbox people over to the Sony side. Because right now what we're seeing is the fanboys, stretching to their sides. On the business side, Sony might have, done very well with this, but it's now up to Microsoft to basically hold fort, and up to Sony again to show that they're on par with the Microsoft when it comes to networking, at least.
Now, I think most people understood that the Xbox Live service, as far as security and stability, was always one of the strong points of Microsoft's console. I'm a cheap guy when it comes to this stuff, man. You guys can tell I don't buy a lot of stuff. But I always played the PSN over my Xbox 360 because when I had them side by side, I was like, okay, we can play Halo together, me and my wife. Why jump online when I can play Call of Duty for free on the PS3? I'm one of those cheap guys, you know. But I've always known. I was there. I went through the whole. What was it? 2 months the PSN was down.
Yeah.
For the PS3, it was terrible. I absolutely hated it. I was pissed. And finally, when it was over, you got a free game, I think, or 2 games.
Yeah. I think it was like 2 or 3 games they gave you.
They gave you Infamous and something else to kind of, bandage your wound. But now that the PS4 has sold, 4.2 million as of December 28th, all this money for the PlayStation Network, PlayStation Plus, hopefully that goes towards better infrastructure and security and stabilization. If they can hammer that down, then I think they have a fighting chance to be on par with the Xbox Live service as far as those go.
My experience with the PlayStation 4 network is far superior to what it was with the PlayStation 3.
Oh, yeah.
Downloads are much faster. I can't speak to security. Microsoft is always going to be a better networking company than Sony. That is their core competency. They design Windows Server. They are the internet. They made that shit. So, I don't think Sony will ever be able to really compete as far as, how good Xbox Live is, but they have a service on PlayStation 4 right now that is really good. I do not find that the Xbox Live experience on the Xbox One is any better than what I'm getting on the PlayStation 4. I can't speak to security. I can't speak to speed because there's no way to really test it. But it feels great. I'm getting great gameplay on Call of Duty. I'm getting much faster downloads. The party system is just as good as the Xbox One. Now, granted, the Xbox One took a huge step back from the Xbox 360. Xbox 360 party system was way better, but both systems will upgrade. They'll get better over time, and PlayStation Network is right up there for me, and they offer me a bunch of free games, and I can't argue with that.
Exactly. And what's the best part about this, and I think all gamers, who are not like super fanboys will agree, I think both of these systems are very well thought out quality systems, and this early on to have the quality and some of the games that we have right now, people keep on saying, oh, look at the launches of the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. There's maybe Xbox have a couple better games, but if you look at PlayStation 3, if you look at PlayStation 2, and all the systems came before it, I think this is one of the better launches on next-gen consoles that we've ever had.
I agree, Fig. I'm playing Assassin's Creed, I'm playing Killzone, I'm playing Forza, Call of Duty Ghosts, Dead Rising, Battlefield 4. All these games were launch games, and each one has their own separate problem, but most of them are pretty freaking awesome.
And on Xbox One, in a couple months, Titanfall comes out, and I know 2 or 3 people who got in the alpha, and their heads are blowing up. They're like, oh my God, Titanfall. One, they're already saying Call of Duty is dead.
I heard that too. Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah, they're saying that Titanfall makes Call of Duty look like duty.
now, have you guys seen the leaked alpha footage?
Actually, I did. A friend of mine sent me a little something of showing it, and I was blown away. It was amazing.
I got the
that
whole
game
thing.
Looks like pure distilled fun.
Yeah, it really does. I don't know what to say at this point. It looks so clean, right? The frames seem really solid. It's fast, and it's havoc. It's so much shit going on that you can't help but just see the fun. It looks really amazing. I wish I could play it when I was watching that video yesterday. I'm actually going to upload some footage of it probably later on today or tomorrow. At this point, it looks really amazing, BriarRabbit. And right now, I really can't tell who are the bots versus the 6 opponents.
Yeah.
They seem to be able to have the wherewithal to play kind of like a human. So I don't know.
Who cares?
Wait for March to find out.
Have they lowered the NDA to upload footage? Because they're being really harsh, like straight up banning channels for anyone who's put it up there.
No, I know a few people who have some footage up. I haven't heard anything, so
okay.
I guess I'll just wait for a moment.
Yeah. I would suggest to wait.
Let's not have to start a channel over from scratch.
Exactly, because it's I've been hearing some stories that people have been putting stuff up, and within like 10 minutes they have like 3 strikes on their channel because EA hit them like 3 different ways.
Wowzers.
You know, they could do that. So this is actually something that I've been thinking about lately. Last year, at the end of last year, everybody was talking about the YouTube policy changes for gaming and how, you know, we're not going to be able to monetize a video for 48 hours and, you know, it's going to impact us all terribly and we're in such dire straits. And, you know, it's January 19th and I haven't really noticed a change. Anybody else?
Well, the policy hasn't been enacted yet.
Oh, it hasn't?
No, it hasn't been enacted.
I thought they were going to start it in the new year.
Yeah, that's what they were supposed to, and I think they delayed it because so many people are complaining about the Content ID system. And I think Google is, because everyone remembers, like around Christmas time, they let loose the Content ID system, and everyone just lost it.
Angry Joe went nuts.
Oh yeah, he's still going nuts.
Yeah, he's pissed.
Yeah, he's pissed. And I think what Google, you know, Google always does what they want, and they never announce anything. They just kind of do it. I think what's going on is that they're letting the legal things go through. They're trying to see how this Content ID, and I think one of the reasons why Google did this is because if you think about it now, how many of these game companies are now finally responding with official policies saying that, oh yeah, you could do Let's Plays. Oh yeah, please do Let's Plays. Before they were like, oh, let Google handle it. Now Google's like, F you, you know, I'll just let you handle it.
Google doesn't want to be in that position that they're responsible for it, especially when game companies have, like GTA 5 is a perfect example of this. Is you're playing the game. You know, Rockstar said, yeah, there's no problem. We'll allow you to post gameplay on your channel. No problem.
The music.
But the music, like if you get in a car and start driving and you have that music playing, then the music company comes and gets you. So
yeah, I think Angry Joe just put out a video and he talked about the people who let go of the strikes on his channel and the ones that are still holding fast, and like 9 out of 10 of them are all small music studios.
Wow. Okay.
So we got to be careful. And unfortunately, with these next gen games, most of them are using licensed music. So anyone who plays games, especially games like sports games, you better turn that music off.
Turn the music off. Turn all the volume off.
I'll just have Nova sing in the background.
I'll watch that video 3 times. Fig, I don't know if you've checked out Beasley's channel, but he's got a daughter who's officially, I think, at this point, the cutest kid on the internet. I'm pretty sure that title has been awarded. It's just a paperwork issue at this point why she hasn't gotten the trophy. It's unbelievable, though. She did a habanero game review that I think was the best video on the internet.
Yeah. She really enjoyed it. Yeah, she's great. She's great.
I definitely have to check that out.
She keeps me busy, guys. So
I'm sure she does.
In the last week, there's been a little bit of video game news. What do you got for me, BriarRabbit?
Let me bring up my notes here. I got a PS Vita. Did I tell you guys that?
Yeah, I want to hear your thoughts on this because you're on the fence for a long time about it.
Yeah, now I was. You know, I'm not a handheld gamer that much, but one of the things that really intrigued me about this were the games that were coming out, like help me out here.
like all these great games.
All these great games that I can't really think of right now.
Tearaway
was really a big one. Guacamelee was a big one. And Terraria, Spelunky, Gravity Rush I've been hearing about for a year. And I started playing with this DS that I got the kids for Christmas. And I was like, you know, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying playing my games in bed. I'm enjoying playing on the couch while I'm watching a TV show that I'm not particularly interested in because, you know, the girlfriend wants to watch it. I'm enjoying this handheld experience. So I told you guys I saw that they had it discounted, and I said, you know what, I'm going to pick it up. And I already got some games through the PS Plus, so I don't even have to spend any money. Then I realized that a 32 gig memory card was going to cost me literally a hand. Yep. I had to give them a hand.
That's the thing with the PSP. When the PSP came out, it was the same exact thing. So when the Vita came out, and announced the memory card stuff, I'm like, of course.
Yeah.
But the reason it's so much worse with the PlayStation Vita is that Sony has developed their own particular memory stick that is not made by any other producer.
Yep.
So you can't get a knockoff. You can't go on eBay and get a SanDisk version. It has to be the Sony version. And when we got our PS Vitas, we got them a week before the original date. We got the early edition. They wanted for the 32-bit like $119.
Yep.
Jesus.
I couldn't do it. 4 gigs, baby.
So then I started playing it, and I realized right away that this thing was designed by the same guys who created the Spanish Inquisition, because they're clearly trying to force a confession out of me. But I mean, the games are wonderful, and the hardware is actually really slick. I like the portability of it. The screen is beautiful. It doesn't come through on YouTube at all, but the screen is just gorgeous. But the controls are just too close to the edge of the device. It's not a comfortable way of playing. So I picked up a grip, and that has helped somewhat. But really, what I need is more area over here. Yeah. But actually, I'm really enjoying it. I think I'll probably look for more grips, something that can help me, or maybe get some Suguru and just make my own grip.
Yeah.
Are you gonna do a review on that console?
I think I will. I want to get some more time in with it. I don't like to jump into those things.
I understand. Trust me, totally.
Yeah, it's fun. It's funny. I picked up in Christmas time a 3DS XL.
I did too. I bought it for the kids.
Yeah, in fact, when Target had those issues of credit cards and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, not only were they selling the 3DS XL for $150 instead of $200, they were giving 20% off on a certain day because saying I'm sorry. So I decided to go pick it up. I'm just
I hope you paid cash.
Well, actually, I paid via check via one of those prepaid cards.
Oh, good. That was smart.
That's one console I don't have, but I always wanted the XL. I haven't seen it enough, but the few times I've seen it, I felt so used and abused for playing on the regular screen.
That's literally what it is. Like I had the DS. And then when I got the 3DS, I don't have any games for it right now. I'm actually saving for actual games. But when I opened up the screen, I was like, why didn't I get the DS big one too?
Definitely play that Resident Evil Revelations, or as Nova would say, Resolations.
Resolations.
On that 3DS, that's an awesome game, man.
Yeah, I got the for the kids. Actually, I have the box right here. It's the Year of Luigi Mario Dream Team Edition, and it's got that little picture of Mario and Luigi on it that I find absolutely adorable.
They should put those on their Wii U's, and they'd probably sell more.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, why don't they do that? Yeah, that's a good question.
To be very honest, and I told this to a friend when it comes to Nintendo, I go, if you want to see old Nintendo, if you want to see the Nintendo you love, it's on the mobile. The real Nintendo is on the DS. They've almost forgot what the real Nintendo on console is right now. But on the mobility, with inventiveness, with the games, it's on the handheld.
And I think that's been consistent throughout the handheld generations, man. From the Game Boy on, to the SP, to the DS, to the 3DS, Nintendo's handheld market has been fun. It really has been great. I can't remember any of those consoles that just failed or didn't do well, because all the games, or a lot of them, for these handhelds have been Nintendo games. Have been really great.
And there's variety, and then people forget about that. It's not just Mario. I mean, there's been some great Japanese-style RPG games on there. There's been some unique type of mystery games like Phoenix Wright on there. They're bringing Smash Brothers to the machine. I mean, it's literally everything on that little handheld. And I wish I could take that handheld and smash it into a Wii U and make it into a better system.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting my Wii U for Smash Brothers. That's probably in my top 3 Nintendo games of all time. I'm extremely excited about it, but I feel like it's buying a car because you like a seat.
Yeah.
There's this fantastic new seat that conforms to your body like you're in a UFO, but it only comes in this 2015, and you're like, damn it, I got to buy the car. And so now I got to buy the Wii U for Smash Brothers, just for that.
I'm waiting for the Zelda. I'm waiting for their real Zelda, because I think that's gonna be the tentpole.
That just came out for the 3DS.
Yeah. Exactly. They're real Zelda for that. But I'm waiting for the real Zelda for the Wii U, because I think I think that's going to be really the determinant factor of how well the Wii U does. Because if that Zelda isn't up to what people expect, it's done for.
I'll check out a Zelda with HD graphics. I'm actually really interested in seeing that. And their last Zelda, A Link Between Worlds, was really phenomenal. And if they can continue that success with another one, I'm really interested to see that. I'm not interested in seeing Wind Waker again.
Yeah. Go see your mommy, honey. Let Daddy finish talking to his friends in here. Yeah, I don't think that there has been a Zelda game that has ever really done bad, except the one on the CDI.
We don't speak about those.
Okay. The console that shall not be named. Okay.
Yes.
But I actually, when Wind Waker came out, I loved it. I did not have any desire to see it remade in HD. I thought that was a terrible, terrible idea. The ones on the Wii have been great. And I think if they keep those minds, I don't know what Nintendo's feeding those guys, because they weave such intricate stories. And the gameplay mechanic of these Zelda games has always been top tier. So I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with an HD version of Zelda myself. I know that before the Wii U actually came out, they released pre-rendered footage of what it could look like, Zelda fighting this giant spider. Link fighting this giant spider. It looked extremely exciting. Hopefully they're going to come up with something that's going to knock people's socks off. If they can get these games that people, the old guys like us, have the nostalgia for, we can make our kids play it and start a whole new generation.
Yeah, exactly. But the only thing with Nintendo showing that footage that they did when the Wii U released, I'm very skeptical, because when they showed that, the only thought I had was, hey, they showed something very similar to that right before they announced Wind Waker.
Wind Waker, yeah, that badass Link doing nasty battle.
Yeah,
frizzled, gnarled, and then we got cartoon Link.
We got a cartoon. And the thing is, I actually liked Wind Waker. I didn't like the long boat sessions, which I think they fixed in the remake. But I thought Wind Waker was a great Zelda game. But they need to really knock it apart, because I think the expectations, even though with the Wii U sales low, when they announced that Zelda, a first-time HD Zelda, everyone's eyes are going to be on it, and that thing better blow people's minds. Because if it doesn't, it's going to be one of those that I don't even think it can even reach the expectations of what people think an HD Zelda is going to look like. But if they could get close, they'll sell a lot of Wii U's finally.
We'll see. I don't know. I think it's just too late for the Wii U. I think they need to support it just so they don't abandon people, but I don't think they're going to sell.
Is that a shovel in your hand, BriarRabbit? Are you digging a hole for
Hey, no, I don't want Nintendo to fail. And, as much as I'd love to play Nintendo games on other consoles, really in my heart I want Nintendo to make their own console. So I don't want to dig a grave for Nintendo, but I think it's too late for to be honest with you, whatever's in development currently for the Wii U, I'm okay with them releasing for the Wii U. Any new projects, I want them to start developing for that next console.
Okay, yeah. Well, that sounds actually pretty reasonable, and I'm sure there are a lot of people in those high-rises saying the same kind of stuff. We already know about some of these games coming out for 2014, Zelda, hopefully a good Metroid if somebody can do something with it. Smash Brothers. We got a lot, well, not really a lot, but we got some notable Wii U games coming out. But I agree, if there's something that they actually are brainstorming on now, they need to put that energy into a new console that can actually compete. Because in 2 months, the PS4 outsold the Wii U's entire year-long install base.
That's crazy.
I'm pretty sure in a couple of days, the Xbox One will do the same thing. That's got to have somebody hurting at Nintendo. Can you imagine that feeling of a failure, especially for a company that has so much success in its history? To actually fail like this has to be something totally new. It's got to be like Anderson Silva when he threw that kick. His leg spun around his opponent's kneecap. That feeling of loss, you're just not ready for it. And that might be why Nintendo is so hesitant to change their strategy, because they've been doing the same thing for so long. They've been so successful at it, and they feel like if they just hold fast, if they just continue on the road they're on, they're going to see more of that success. But like you said, Fig, times are changing. Technology is changing. The demographic is changing. We're all old as hell. We don't want to go back to play Mario and Peach. We want to see something new from Nintendo that'll make us love it as adults. And you're absolutely right. The Xbox 360 and PS3, they lasted for almost 8 years. A lot of these kids were 7, 8 years old when the console came out. They're 15, 16 years old now, and they have no ties to Nintendo. So Nintendo needs to start from scratch and attract new consumers to their products. And I think...
Yeah, and they, if they do have ties to Nintendo, it is not the console. It is to the DS.
Yes, DS, yeah.
And again, I think the day if Nintendo learns from this, if Nintendo pulls a Sony, if let's say they stick with the Wii U and they take their punches or even recover a little bit to the point that they're doing okay. But let's say 6 years goes by, and all of a sudden, here's the new Nintendo, and they release something great, probably something that everyone wanted from Nintendo the way they wanted to. I think everyone in the gaming industry as a whole will breathe a sigh of relief because Nintendo is probably the one stalwart that will keep us from a bland Call of Duty, Titanfall, Battlefield future. You know, Nintendo is one of the few companies out there who are still not afraid to say, "Here's our cute Mario character," and guess what? Mario 3D World is still probably one of the best damn games that released last year.
Yeah, oh, definitely it is. Definitely, it was up for Game of the Year. I haven't had a chance to play it, but
it got snubbed, I thought, by a lot of publications that did Game of the Year stuff. I think that Nintendo as a whole got snubbed. Zelda was a fantastic game. I think it was easily a top 3 game, and I think the new Mario game was a top 3 game. And they really, I don't know. Maybe there's like a Nintendo backlash in the industry. I know we're really focusing on Nintendo this show.
It's totally fine. This is what Beastly Thoughts is about, man.
You know, I think it's a big thing right now. Is like people are concerned. Like, is Nintendo going to be able to come around? But I don't know. Do you think there's like some kind of Nintendo backlash right now in the press?
I think it's a little bit.
Fantastic.
I think it's because of Nintendo what they did over the years. Because even like I was listening to the Giant Bombcast.
I love that podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you talk to when you hear Jeff Gerstmann talk about Nintendo, they were not. I mean, the way they treated publishers, they treated like the news reporters even worse. And I think that's part of it. I think they're still hard on them. Like they want to see Nintendo go. People loved the Zelda for the 3DS. I mean, that got nominated for Game of the Year, and some publications actually made it Game of the Year. But there is a backlash. Publishers are just like snubbing the system, and reporters are like, you know what, Nintendo, Zelda is great, Mario is great, but we're not going to reward you because you made those 2 great games. We'll acknowledge it, but we're going to give it to these other studios now because you are not what these studios are coming to. You're not the future.
And the 4 has the same installed base, and they just handed us a bag of cash to make our game exclusive for their console.
Yeah.
So you know, Nintendo, it's been nice knowing you. You can keep your seal of approval and show it.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the smartest moves this new generation was Microsoft. I don't know how much they gave EA for like at least for this game of Titanfall.
Yeah.
To get who knows with Titanfall 2. I bet you Titanfall 2 will be multi-console.
Yeah.
But at least for this generation, that's going to sell so many Xbox Ones. I don't think people realize. Yeah, Sony has a million and a half console lead, but if you notice, there's still Xbox Ones all over the place. The moment Titanfall drops, they're going to disappear.
Yeah, Titanfall is. I mean, it's. I don't know if I talk to anybody who is a big gamer who doesn't talk about Titanfall. And there was that big controversy last week about it's only 6v6, but it's a brand new type of game. How can you tell like what the player count? What does the player count have to do with how good a game is? I just find that to be an empty argument.
Well, I think the big thing is that so many people try to compare it to Call of Duty, Battlefield, and I think the guys over there at Respawn were like, "This is a completely different game. This is the design of this game is not Call of Duty. Yes, we're the Call of Duty team, but this is a different feel from Call of Duty." And I think a lot of people will just knee-jerked and went, "Oh my God, Call of Duty does this. How's Titanfall not doing this?" But then they're like, calm down. You'll see. And I think all those people who worried about 6v6, they're all shut up right now.
Yeah. I made a video on it too. And BriarRabbit will tell you, I did a lot of Xbox One bashing in my 3 months as a YouTuber. But I always said that Titanfall was a game that I definitely wanted. And I read between the lines on what was said about the exclusivity of the game for the Xbox One. And they did say that the original would only be Xbox One, but any versions of it that come out, late at a later date could be cross-platform. So I'm really excited to see that. And I will say I did make a video on the 6v6. It wasn't really an issue for me because I understand that each game is different. They all have their own strengths and weaknesses. But I don't personally think that a player count really matters when you got 12 people playing in a match. But when I saw that alpha footage, I really didn't think it mattered.
Yeah, yeah, and you know what? And it's going to be multi-platform unless Microsoft just throws so much money at it. It'd be illogical for EA not to make it just proprietary, because one, Microsoft is not going to buy EA. One of the reasons Gears of War was only on there is that they pretty much bought the Gears of War team to make it for only other.
Which was a great decision, because Gears of War was an amazing game and it had many fans.
Exactly.
Still does. I'm really excited to see what they do on the Xbox One.
Yeah.
The 360 had a lot of advantages that they're not really capitalizing on the Xbox One. It had Xbox Live, that was a very good experience compared to the PlayStation Network. It had an exclusive deal on Halo. It had an exclusive deal on Gears of War. This time around, they got Titanfall, and they got DLC for Call of Duty.
Call of Duty Ghosts.
We'll see. I mean, I don't see it as being as strong an argument as they had with Xbox Live for the 360.
Yeah, well, with the 360, it wasn't Gears of War. That was a release game, correct?
No, it actually came out 1 year after
Came out a year later? Okay, yeah. I was late to the 360 party.
Yeah, and I think, again, that goes back to what I was saying, that this is probably one of the best releases ever, because it's like not only did you have the Call of Duties and the Assassin's Creeds and all the third-party games, Titanfall is coming out within less than 6 months of the Xbox One's release. Something at that level never came out for other generation systems. We had to wait. I think the only time we had a groundbreaking game that people could look at and says, that's next generation, was Mario 64.
I don't know. I think Halo might have been that for the original Xbox.
Well, yeah, I would say
that was
Halo.
Stunning.
Yeah, original Halo, yeah, most definitely.
But I like Mario 64 more.
I don't know. Not me. I think Halo was better.
Oh man, Mario 64 is a desert island game. You can stick me on a desert island, give me Spalding, and 64 and Mario, and I'm good.
You can do that with me, but I'd have to have 6 chumps on that desert island to beat up on.
But
because Halo is not as much fun by yourself.
So 1 year from now, I'll ask you guys a question. 1 year from now, where do you think the sales of Xbox One and PlayStation 4s will be?
You want to go first, BriarRabbit?
I think that the PlayStation 4 is going to outsell the Xbox One, and I think it's going to do it by a fair margin. December's numbers came out, and Xbox One actually outsold PS4, but I'm thinking that's probably supply constraints on the PlayStation 4. And I think that Sony's garnered a lot of support from core gamers, and they're evangelizing the PlayStation 4. If you talk to them, they're saying, yes, the PlayStation 4 is awesome. If you are into a certain kind of game, though, and that being multiplayer shooters, the Xbox One really has a strong argument. They get COD DLC first. They get Titanfall. They get Halo. Right now I'm playing Call of Duty on the PlayStation 4. But once the new DLC comes out, I'm going to be switching over to the Xbox One. And I don't know if I'm going to come back, because Titanfall is coming out, and then Destiny, which actually is getting better on the PS4.
You'll be back. You'll long for that PS4 controller in no time.
Somebody's got to make an adapter.
Yeah.
Now, this is what I think. My projections on what the future sales of the Xbox One and PS4 will be. I agree that I think Sony will have a hefty margin in a year from now, but it's for slightly different reasons. I think that Titanfall does hold a lot of water when it comes to the sales of the Xbox One. A lot of people want it. Me, myself, want that game.
The chat just brought up, too, that Titanfall, everybody's forgetting that Titanfall is coming out for PC. Yep. I'm reading the chat, and I forgot about that, too. And you just got a new PC, Beastly. You think you're going to just buy it for the PC, or you think you're going to get an Xbox One, a $500 console, just for one game?
You just reminded me.
It's also coming out for 360.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean...
yeah, just throwing that out there. I mean, yeah.
Wow. I may now. This computer doesn't have the highest grade graphics card, but it's pretty good. So I may go ahead and go that route. But the reasons that I think the PS4 will consistently outsell the Xbox One is for a few reasons. One is the price is $100 cheaper, and a lot of people don't think that's a big deal. That's a big deal, especially if you're working hard to make ends meet and you're stuck in the trap trying to make it, and then you got $400 to spend versus $500. A lot of people are going to pick that $400 system. And then if you hear in the media, the news, YouTube, that the PS4 has more powerful hardware, that's another draw. Then you think about, you know, the cloud, the stigma that over Microsoft of what they tried to do with the restrictive policies and the DRM. That's another plus for Sony. So unless Microsoft somehow completely alleviates the past and makes the consumer completely forget about the way they tried to screw them, they either get rid of the Kinect that a lot of people don't want or lower the price to be more competitive with the PlayStation 4. I think that the PS4 will hold a consistent lead over the next year. I mean, I think it's pretty elementary to me.
For me, I think it's actually going to be a little bit tighter. The reason is, at least for the first year, because you got the PlayStation with 1.5 million, like almost about 1.5 million lead right now. But if you look at it, all comes down to games. It always comes down to games in the end. And Titanfall is going to be the changer that, unless Sony releases something around that same time to make it, you know.
Remember Infamous now. Infamous is coming out this year.
But Infamous versus Titanfall when it comes to popularity.
I always felt that the original Infamous was like kind of a B-level game to begin with.
I liked Infamous, but it's one of those. You got Infamous versus Titanfall. It's one of those. Titanfall is going to win that battle 9 times out of 10, and I think that's going to sell a lot of Xbox Ones. I would not be surprised if by the middle of next year that is literally like 7 million PlayStation 4s and 6.5 million Xbox Ones. That would not surprise me whatsoever because of Titanfall. It's going to come down to Christmas and the exclusive games that Sony's going to release, because I bet you anything they have something in their back pocket big. Because the moment EA basically gave Titanfall to Microsoft, guarantee you someone at Sony was like, we need to do something huge. If not, we're going to lose it, because yes, it's going to be big in Japan. Yes, worldwide, Sony's going to sell a little bit more. But in the United States, which is one of the biggest consumers of video games, it's about the shooters, at least for right now. They need to do something big. And I'll tell you right now, Uncharted will be huge, but it's still not going to be as big as Titanfall. Not as going to be as big as Halo. So they need something to do that. So I think overall Sony is still going to be in the lead. But
it's got to be a new IP, right?
It's got to be
out there that
I know. It has to be a new IP, yeah.
It has to be a new. It has to be a new IP. It has to be something huge that's going to slam down, because Sony's going to go in their tried and true pocket of, hey, we're the COD system, but here's alternatives to COD now. Here's Titanfall. Here's Halo. You guys like first-person shooters? Shoot things, and they're going to sell a bunch of systems that way.
For me, personally, and when I think about this, it's almost like, how could you not think the same way? If you're a gamer and you have a system that cross-platform doesn't perform as well as another, and it's more expensive, even if it's coming out with a particular game, I'd much rather go with a system that performs better as well. So that's another thing Sony has going for itself, that it's playing at higher resolution on games like Battlefield and Call of Duty. I mean, and this is early on. So it could change. I can't
see the difference though, Beasley. I play Call of Duty back to back on both consoles, and I really can't tell the difference. I think to me it's the controller.
Yeah, I think it's going to be there's some difference, but I think you're speaking on the level of someone like us. When you get into the millions, past like this 4 or 5 million group, it's going to.
They don't notice it. Yeah.
They don't care. They don't care. I mean, my brother bought an Xbox One, and I asked him, hey, why did you buy an Xbox One instead of a PlayStation 4? Because he had both systems. He goes, oh, Titanfall. I go, or he goes, that was it.
Checkmate.
Because the vast majority of people who buy these systems, and if you listen, you go on COD, and if you go on Battlefield, if you go on like some of these other games, it's all about the general audience. Who could win over that general audience? And they could give two swats on which one has more megahertz power. They want to know which one has the shooter that all my friends are on. And if all their friends buy Xbox Ones because they bought Titanfall, guess what system they're buying? They're buying the Xbox One.
Xbox One, yeah.
You know, and that's when it comes down to. So again, it all comes down to games. I believe Sony has something huge in their back pocket. I believe Sony is the better machine right now. is this machine that's doing the most to get to the hardcore gamers, is going to offer the most value, and is $100 cheaper, which is going to be huge. But if they don't give out something exclusive to say this is why you want to come to PlayStation 4 to Mr. Joe Blow, who he only buys one game every 6 months, they're gonna allow Microsoft to catch up.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that's really insightful.
Well, you really can't argue with, you know. Well, sometimes you hear the truth and you know it, right?
Yeah.
If they were coming out with something like maybe a God of War, Uncharted, all these kind of games in the same time frame, they could, you know, make up that difference. But if they're just going to sit and just depend on stuff like Infamous Second Son, which I must say is a beautiful game.
Oh yeah,
it's incredible. I can't wait to play it. Then yeah, Titanfall will give Microsoft the jump that they need to at least bridge that gap.
Single-player games to me are games I play for a week, 2 weeks, or a month. You know, Call of Duty, Halo, Titanfall. These are games that I play for a year.
For a year, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you know which game and if they had the God of War, if they had the Infamous, but I think one game that'll make a lot of waves if they got at least an exclusivity for the first couple months. Imagine a new Mass Effect. Just for PlayStation 4. That would make a lot of waves, even if it was for 6 months. That would make a lot of waves. An original IP, the God of Wars. I think what Sony needs to do is bust out the games. Microsoft is hitting the home runs. They got a couple home runs in their back pocket. Sony needs to drown them and say, look at the games you can only get on Sony and nowhere else. That's how they make up the difference.
You think that's something that Sony is about to do this year?
Oh yeah, they got
so.
this planned. I think they got this planned. They've learned so much from PlayStation 3. There's a reason why they seem to be hitting on all cylinders right now.
Even at E3 last year, though, they didn't have the games and they knew it. You know, they were showing all the independent developers on stage. That was because they didn't have the big, you know, exclusives to show off. They had, what did they have for exclusives? They had Killzone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a beautiful game. It's a good selling point when it comes to graphics alone. But that game, it really let me down. But yeah, I think more than likely Sony is going to do it again. You know, they've been on this roll. It's only getting better and better and better. And I think that they have learned a lot with the PS3. They made many mistakes with that console, and they got some. I think they got some real shit coming.
Yeah, I think so too. E3 is going to be very interesting.
It will be.
Yeah, that's going to be the telltale sign of E3. And I think the key is going to be exclusive, or if it's not 100% exclusive, maybe a timed exclusive. If they bust out and say, "Hey, look, Bethesda, Fallout 4, 6 months early on the PlayStation 4," you be damn well there'll be a lot of people buy Fallout 4 6 months on the PlayStation 4.
Oh, don't even say that word to me. Fallout 4, man. I'm about to jump to the screen. That's something I need. Fallout 4. Oh my goodness. And that's something that everybody's waiting on. My goodness.
I know I am.
Absolutely. I sunk a lot of time into Fallout 3 in New Vegas.
Okay, these are some of the releases coming to the Xbox One. Of course, we got Titanfall coming out March 11th, a day before my birthday. Today's my mom's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom! Project Cars is Q4 of 2014. Alien Isolation, which looks pretty good, and it has nothing to do with the last Alien game.
Thank God.
Q4. Tomb Raider, the Definitive Edition, is going to be out on the 28th of this month. Metal Gear Solid 5 is March 18th. Ah, that's right around my birthday, too. Birthday gift, babe. Watch Dogs is Q2, and that's something I have to have. Elder Scrolls Online. You guys ever get into that game?
No, I mean it looks interesting, but I get a feeling it's going to be one of those well-made games, but the MMO market is so saturated right now.
I don't have time to put into MMOs. I can't get interested in them because I don't have 5 hours it takes to level up or to walk from one place to another. I'm a Call of Duty reason for a reason because it takes me 15 minutes to play a match.
Put that gun down and pick up a light staff.
Yeah, but also there's so many actually really good free-to-play MMOs out there right now that are not like super cheeseball. I mean, the early MMOs that did free-to-play were kind of shady. Now there's some great free-to-play MMOs out there. Why pay a $15 a month fee when I could just play this game and pay what I want over time?
Yeah.
If I'm paying $15 a month, they better come with a table dance.
Were you guys big into Skyrim?
Oh yeah.
I love Skyrim.
Yeah.
Epic. Did you play that, BriarRabbit?
No, I didn't dig it. I didn't like. I haven't liked any of those games because the sword and sorcery thing just doesn't really hook me like Fallout does, and just walking from town to town just takes too long. It's just not my type of game.
You can quick travel, man. Pick up the
Not quick
manual.
enough. Put cars into that.
All right, we got Plants vs. Zombies, Garden Warfare. That's February 25th. Evolve is coming out Q4. Now, this is going to be a big system seller for both consoles. Destiny, September 9th.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big deal. That's an MMO shooter. And you'll have time for that one, though, huh, BriarRabbit?
Yeah, well, it's made by Bungie, man.
That's a given, okay.
I'm actually kind of amused with Destiny and Titanfall. It's like, here's the new generation of systems, and the two most influential makers of the games of COD and Halo no longer make COD and Halo, and new generation comes around, and now they got these two other, hopefully, franchises they wish to start up under different names now.
Yeah. Destiny just looks like it's going to be such a fun co-op experience. It just well, Borderlands 2 was fun, right? So this looks like that.
Yeah.
It looks amazing. I really can't wait to get my hands on that. I'll be thinking about it when I'm at work and dreaming about it when I'm asleep. Get Even is coming out in 2015. Thief, you guys know about this? February 25th. It looks really good. I never played a Thief game before, though, so I don't know what to expect.
It's first-person stealth.
Okay, so Metal Gear Solid with a hood on. Okay. Kingdom Come Deliverance, that's Q1 of 2015. Rayman Legends, February 25th. Lords of Fallen, Q2, and EA Sports UFC. Oh, I wonder if they got the leg break in that one.
Guys, I'm going to excuse myself to use the facilities. I'll be right back.
Not a problem.
But those are the games that we know about. E3 is going to be about the games that we don't know about, and that's going to be the big drop. And I hope Sony drops the bomb and really does well.
I honestly do too. At this point, I feel like I'm George Bush. Either you're with me or against me when it comes to this stuff. I gotta say, I respect both companies. I think they both have made some fantastic consoles. I think that their marketing strategy has been excellent. I've seen tons of stuff in the news about the Xbox One. Seen tons of stuff about the PS4. They're moving units. They're getting people excited. But at this point, I'm loving my PlayStation 4, man. It's not like the games are the best games on earth, but I'm thinking about the potential. I'm thinking about the future, what can come, because in the last generation, we saw some excellent games on both consoles, coming from Halo all the way over to The Last of Us, God of War, Gears of War. Why is it so much war? But these games, the potential of what they can make, it just blows my mind. I'm super excited about it, and I will have my Xbox One. And I might get it in a couple of weeks. I'm on the fence. I don't see anything on it that I really want. I've seen and heard lots of reviews on it, and I've seen a lot of the gameplay. Rise Son of Rome looks beautiful. Forza 5 looks fantastic, but I'm not really a racer guy. And what is it?
Dead Rising.
Dead Rising looks great. I love zombie games, but it looks so similar to me to the last gen. But then again,
it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
Yeah, but basically with Dead Rising, a lot of people kind of the sentiment I get is it's not the best looking game, but it wasn't about being the best looking game. It's just that the amount of zombies that are around is so mind blowing that that's pretty much where all that processing went into.
It's just fun to wade through them, and it's like going into the ocean with a knife slashing through the water. It's zombies instead. It's
are the zombies in this game still the George Romero type, or have they come on to the 28 days later, rampaging, running after you kind?
They're just slower.
Yeah, they're slow and stupid and fodder.
Yeah, the thing with Dead Rising was never really about the zombies. I mean, they were always the constant threat, but the bosses in the game were never zombies. They were humans that went crazy. That's what the bosses were. So it's always been about that humanity was the greatest enemy, and not really. The zombies are basically there just to not really get in your way, but be always the constant threat to keep you pushing forward until you reach like the next crazy person who lost it.
So, BriarRabbit, you said the game is really fun. Are you still playing that?
No.
We talked about this earlier, you know.
There's so many games right now. Everybody talks about how these console launches didn't bring the games, but I'm overwhelmed with great games to play. I'm totally a COD addict. I love playing Call of Duty. I love Call of Duty Ghosts. So when I sit down for half hour or 45 minutes of gaming, it's just easier to jump into multiplayer Call of Duty Ghosts for me. Than to try and start in on a story-based game like Dead Rising or like Zelda or Tearaway, any of these games that are really on my plate right now. So I'll admit, I feel guilty about not getting back to Dead Rising or to Forza or to Assassin's Creed 4, but shit happens.
There's a lot going on, yeah, and I gotta totally agree with you, especially now. I feel like I kind of put my foot in my own mouth with this new PC because now I want to try all these PC games I haven't had a chance to play. I feel real guilty that I haven't beat Battlefield 4 yet, right?
I haven't even started the single player on that. I haven't started the single player on Ghosts yet either.
Wait, there's a single player on Ghosts?
Yeah.
You get to play as a character named Riley. You're a dog.
Yeah, I'm about to say that's the only thing I know about this damn Riley.
Yeah, my wife, she actually beat Call of Duty Ghosts and did a review on my channel on that. I beat Killzone because I thought it would be epic, but I was let down.
Yeah.
And so I'm waiting on Battlefield 4, and I got all these handhelds. So there's 4 Vitas in the house and four 3DSs, and I got 5 PS3s, and I got a lot of video games in here. Okay.
Yeah,
I got my China cabinet's over there, and it's got like 25 consoles in it, and so it's like. I'm looking at all these games, and when I go to pick up one, if I got a little bit of time, I'm like you, BriarRabbit. I'll play Call of Duty quick. You can play for 20, 30 minutes, and she can join in rather than pick up a game and start playing through the story, and then you feel like you got to commit. It's like meeting a beautiful woman, and you want to just give her a kiss and a quickie, right?
Yeah.
And she says, no, you got to put a ring on this. You're like, oh, I don't want to put a ring on all these games because I don't have time,
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I love for doing YouTube is that now that I was never really a big Let's Play guy, but now I'm doing a couple Let's Plays. Now I'm like, oh, this gives me an excuse of turning on one of my 130 Steam games.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you a question, okay? Have you had the opportunity to play DayZ?
I actually have DayZ. I don't have the new one that came out, but I actually have it when it used to be like the Arma with the expansion, the mod. I'm never a big DayZ guy. I tried it, but maybe because every time I tried it, it was on the stream and people just hacked my server I was on, and next thing I was a dog or flying through space. Yeah, people were hacking my stream all the time. I turned into a dog one time. One time I turned into a cow.
Oh, that sucks, man.
Yeah, so I never really got to learn how to play DayZ because the server kept on getting hacked.
Yeah, I just bought it. I bought it the same day that this laptop came, and it's something, man. I haven't really had the opportunity to talk to anybody yet. I got killed by a couple of zombies. I think I played it twice.
Yep.
But before I really get into it, because I'm not a mouse and keyboard guy,
Yeah.
This is for clicking YouTube videos, if you ask me. And so I'm really learning the WASD. I had to actually look up there to remember. And that whole mechanic is so foreign to me. I feel like I'm going to Russia and learning a whole new language, but it seems worth it, man. I don't know if I'll ever get good enough to play, maybe a first-person shooter, but as far as running around in these kind of games, DayZ, Slender, Amnesia, I think I want to learn just to, get good at that. Yeah. But I think DayZ has a lot of potential, especially with it being an alpha and the amount of stuff that you can do and the amount of detail in the environment. And it's kind of like Dead Rising. The human element of that game is the worst element you could ever see.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, those guys, they don't even give you a chance. As soon as they see you, they might, hold you up, handcuff you, feed you a rotten fucking banana. These guys are assholes, man.
Yeah. A rotten banana. The nerve of these mothers.
Yeah, they do crazy stuff in that game, but I think that the human dynamic of that game is what really draws me to it. I've always been a big zombie buff. Hard to believe I don't play Dead Rising, but I think that this game is going to be fantastic once they finally get through the alpha and beta and they release a legit standalone. I think it's going to blow the socks off people.
Yeah. Have they said anything about when they're going to do that? I think I heard that they weren't planning on doing it in 2014.
I didn't hear anything about a release date, but I did hear that they were really looking more at the PS4 over the Xbox One because the PS4, the cost to release patches on the Xbox One, I forget how many thousands they said it was, and how Microsoft wasn't as, friendly with developers.
It's about $10,000. That's one of the reasons why Fez never really got the patches, because Phil Fish was like, Microsoft just charges way too much for this.
And that's what they were talking about in the article, that Microsoft wanted so much money, and they said this game would have to have patch after patch after patch after patch. And so they said the PS4, it's not the same way, and they'd be able to release it and patch it and fix it and get it going good. So if it comes out on PS4, I think I'll quit my job, super glue my door shut, and stay in my room and play DayZ all day.
Yeah.
I always thought that was baloney about Fez. Like you released a broken game. You can't cry about having to patch it. You knew that it was going to cost money to patch it. You knew that before releasing a broken game. So don't complain that you can't patch it because it costs you money. You charged money for your broken game. Use some of that money to patch it.
It's called taking your money and running. That's what that's called.
That's called
no. And that was the exact words of Phil Fish. That was his last.
I'm taking the money and running.
Taking the money and running. That's exactly what he said.
Well, that's how you lose all credibility.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nova, you want to say hi to my friends? You can say hi in a second when we get ready to wrap up, okay? My daughter, she's a personality guy. She wants to say hi to my friends.
Aw.
Right.
Hey, I just read in the comment section, last week's guest, Get Punk 99, just hit 700 subscribers this week.
Oh,
wow,
cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I like to see anybody growing on YouTube. I really don't look at the numbers that much, but today I noticed I hit 160. Yeah,
hey,
guys,
that's great.
160 subscribers. 160 people who like to listen to me. What the hell's going on in the world? It must be the end days,
That's what happened to me just a couple of days ago. I don't know what's going on for my channel. Is that I hit 700 subscribers last week, and I was like, wow, 700. I made this video, like 700 subscribers. I hit 800 yesterday.
Wow.
All of a sudden, the same thing happened to me. Is like I hit like kind of a certain level, and then it just the growth just kind of ramped up. I heard Boogie2988 say this one time, was that getting YouTube views is like putting little thimbles out to catch rainwater. The more thimbles you put out there, the more rainwater you'll catch. But you're only going to catch a very small amount with a single video, and that's rung true for me. It's like I've noticed that the more videos you have, the more popular you get.
I never heard Boogie say that, but when you and I first met, BriarRabbit, you said that to me, and that's always permeated in the back of my mind. I heard your voice saying it, and that's why I try to put something out consistently. I don't do it as much as you, but not recently. The last couple of weeks I've been a little dry, but I've noticed myself that every couple of days I got 3, 4, 5 more subscribers because there's so much content. If you look at somebody's video and you don't know who they are and you like what you see, the content, the way that they present themselves, and then you go to their channel and you see 4 videos, you're never going to hit subscribe. But if you see 50, 60, 80, 100 videos, you're like, okay, I can leisurely watch this guy's stuff. I already like what he's about or she's about. Let me go and subscribe. So, yeah, it's definitely that dynamic to it. The more videos you got, the more people you catch in the net. Sorry to make these subscribers sound like,
I think regular content makes a difference too. Is when you know that somebody's going to make something, you can expect it to be out when you get home from work, that he's going to have a new video. I think that makes a difference too.
Yeah, and it's all about consistency. It's all about making sure you put out consistent quality content. You can't just say, here's my gaming channel, and next you're just doing vlogs all of a sudden all the time without some explanation. Or you just change the entire format of your channel because you'll lose all your subscribers. When I did YouTube, I'm very much on networking and just trying to reach out to new people, and I've grown because of the help of those people. But I always made sure, at least on a personal level, that if someone comes to my channel based on someone else's recommendation, that they see the best I can do. That they always see that every video that I do, I try the best I possibly can. Even if the gameplay itself is not the best, the commentary is as best as I could do, or what I'm talking about is going to be something that either motivates them or is influential. And that's how I run my channel. And I think it's a mixture of quality and networking is the only way to grow on YouTube. There's too many shady things out there, like with bots and people doing that sub for sub type of nonsense.
Yeah.
I've never participated in any of that, and I'm perfectly happy. And now I'm seeing the benefits of doing that.
I told this to Beasley when I first met him, and I'll tell it to you too, Fig, is that I like to surround my people who have a positive attitude and are fun to be around. I don't like to be around negativity because I feel like it breeds on itself. And when I watch your channel, I know right away that this is a positive guy. He's going to be fun to be around. I knew I wanted to get you on this podcast because, you know, it was just a no-brainer for me. I can tell right away. And I like watching your channel because you breed positivity and you're fun. You're just you're a positive influence on the world. You know, you're like, I know that sounds weird, but it's like, you know, the more positivity you project, the more positivity that you're going to get back in return. And that's how I agree with you. I think that's how, you know, people, if you give to people, people give you back, and that's just how I feel about it. You know, and right away, both of you guys, I knew right away that, you know, I want to be their friend. I could tell right away.
Yeah, and that's how I treat it as well. I've seen so many people come and go, and so many people try dirty tactics, or some people use people, that I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to surround myself with people who are generally positive, or at least having fun. I know a couple guys that you would call them like the guys who like calling people out and whatnot, but they're having fun. They're not taking this seriously. I know a guy who wears a wig, and like he has an alternate account where he like calls out people who do botting and whatnot, and he has a wig and he has a mask on, and he says F word every other moment, and he throws bricks at the camera. But I'm like,
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he's just goofing off. He's not taking this seriously at all. And that's how I view it overall as YouTube, is that the moment you take this too seriously is the moment you kind of lost focus on what you're here for.
I think there's a lot of guys out there right now who are running into trouble because you know, they've relied on this as a form of
financial freedom.
Yeah.
Sure. You know, yeah, and then you know, it becomes a job, and then you find that you're forced to make a video every day. And I ran into this summer. I wanted to make a video every day this summer, and I found that I was sitting down trying to make a video, and I had nothing to say, so I'd try and force it, and then I wasn't having any fun. And then I'd listen to the video, and I'm like, this is no fun to listen to, so why am I doing it? So I just made a decision right there. I'm like, if I got nothing to talk about, and if I'm not going to have fun making the video, I'm not going to make a video. Like, who is this going to be beneficial to? Nobody. So I just stopped doing it.
Why put out something if you don't believe in it yourself? And Figcoinc, I've never seen your channel, but I'm definitely going to subscribe to it and check it out today.
Thanks.
Something you said really hit me earlier when you described your channel and what you feel it's about. You're having fun, you're playing a game, and it's going back to what gaming is really about. Not about the best gameplay, not about the best hardware, not about beefs and arguments. It's about what made it fun for us growing up, just having fun. And a lot of people miss that boat in their message, especially when they're YouTube. And a lot of people have a lot of anger, a lot of resentment, a lot of issues with other YouTubers, and issues with games in particular. And I just love that message. I think that's what this needs to be about, especially if you're doing video game commentary or video game content. You just got to have fun. And if you're having fun, I think that your viewers are going to have fun. They're along with you for the ride. And I'll definitely subscribe to your channel and check it out today. I can't wait to see it.
Well, thank you so much, guys. I mean, and it's one of those things that my tagline, I guess, I didn't mean to be like my little like slogan, but it kind of fell into this way. And Briar could probably knows exactly. The last thing I say in all my videos is thank you for being awesome. And I meant that when I started doing my videos. I was like, thank you for being awesome, because my mindset is, doesn't matter if you're subscribed. You watched this video. You didn't have to watch this video. There's a billion other people out there who played the same exact game, probably better than I did, but you decided to come check out my video. So right now, you're the most awesome person that I know. Every single person that subscribes, I don't care if I have 800 subscribers or 8 million subscribers. I view them all as potential friends, potential different avenues to get opinions, potential different ways of learning about the community as a whole that hopefully will improve not only my channel but my outlook on the gaming community. So I think a lot of people just who start channels start it for aka money, or they started because they want attention. I really kind of started it because I just like talking about games, and I wanted to get into the game industry. And I figured, what's a great way of writing about games, talking about games, instead of just putting myself out there. And if I'm wrong about something, I want my subscribers to tell me, hey, you're wrong about it, and I'll look into it, and then I have no problem. I've corrected myself a bunch of times.
Not me. I like my subscribers to create a reality where I'm actually right now, and that's going really well for me. My subscribers are not only really, really cool, but they're also really powerful, and that's going awesome.
They're called BriarRabbit.
Yeah.
Now, I actually started my channel with the same idea. For a long time, I watched people like Woody's Gamertag, BriarRabbit, Broken Games HD, and you know, I'd watch other things on YouTube. But their channels really, they did something with me. I felt the connection there, and of course, I'm a gamer. I love gaming. I could talk about it for hours, like we do every week, right?
Yeah.
And I was telling Kate, my wife, for a long time. I said, Babe, I want to start me a YouTube channel. It wasn't about the financial end. I still don't see that end. It's to me, that doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
You know, the potential for making money. To me, I do this. I buy these lights and I get this new hardware to make this more enjoyable for the people who are repaying me by visiting my channel. This is my love. This is something I genuinely love to do. You know, I got a onesie of Nova's when she was a baby. It says "Future Gamer" on it. Nova's 3 years old. You know, this has been something that has been in me, and I'm just very thankful to be able to share it with the world. You know, and I don't care if it's one person or a million people. If what I'm saying is interesting to you, thank you for listening.
Yeah, exactly, and it's a ton of fun. My friend asked me, like, up to this point, what is like my highlight of since doing YouTube, and it's like, oh, and it was actually recently, like, oh, you hit 800 subscribers. That's obviously your highlight. Like, no, it's not. And he go, well, what's your highlight? The highlight is that, you know, those stores that sell shirts, like the Spreadshirt stores and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Through my partnership, I was able to open one up for free, and I decided, I like whatever, I'll have it up there just for laughs. One of my subscribers bought a shirt, and I don't make a dime off of that. Literally, I made it as cheap as possible. That I think I get 50 cents. But the fact that they bought a shirt, that blew my mind. And I called it one of my greatest highlights of doing YouTube, that someone was so kind of supporting me in this way, even though it wasn't for financial gain, is for they thought well enough of me to spend $15 to buy a shirt that had my logo on it. That blew my mind.
Wow, that would be a real teardrop moment for me.
Yeah.
Because you know my shirt's going to have my face on it like this.
I'll buy that shirt. I think that'd be funny. Actually, you should just make shirts with Nova.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wait, never mind. That's pedo, isn't it? Never mind.
Yeah. You know.
Oh God.
Yeah, I had a similar moment. Thing is, I actually got a YouTube private message. I guess you call it. I don't even know what that's called, really. So when you get like a message in your inbox in YouTube, but it's private.
It's called "Soon to be Phased Out" by Google.
Yeah, clearly, because it keeps getting harder and harder to find.
Past tense, okay.
But I got one, and the guy's talking, about, how his parents don't love him, and I probably shouldn't talk about it because it was personal stuff, and just asking like for my my input, and I was like, what? This is like too much responsibility. I had to like consult with my girlfriend, and like, what do we say? And it's like, oh my God, that was a big moment,
Yeah.
We had something real similar. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No, go ahead.
I do a segment with my wife every week, or we try to get it out at least before Sunday night, called Beauty and the Beast. And last week, she had someone contact us through the comments. And I'm in an interracial marriage, okay? My wife is Klingon. No, I'm just kidding. She's a Caucasian girl, and this girl was a young white woman who was 15 or 16 years old, She contacted her because she was in an interracial relationship and she wanted input on it and what she should do. And she asked my channel for that kind of input.
Wow.
It blew my mind. We talked about it afterwards. I forget the exact date that this was left, but the fact that people even look at us in that kind of light for any kind of input on your life, it means that you must respect what we're doing, must respect what you see in my house or my family. And that was my moment. And I've only been doing this for 3 months, man. I think this is going to be a heck of a ride, you know?
It really is. Some of the things I've been sent, I've had some pretty big YouTubers. I don't drop names or anything, but subscribe to my channel saying that, hey, you're gonna be big and whatnot. But I think the most important thing I got, other than the guy who wrote the shirt, was a small YouTuber who said that, I'm leaving the YouTube game and all that kind of good, all that stuff, and I told him why. He's like, I'm not having fun, and I talked to him for a while and kind of got him, his mind right, and he still has a small channel. It's like 100 and something subscribers. He doesn't have
thanks a lot.
Yeah. Well, he had 1 subscriber for a year.
Oh wow. Okay, it's different.
Yeah. So he had 100 subscribers now, but I told him to stick with it. Because he was like, I'm kind of awkward, and I got a kind of a lisp, and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, but the problem is you weren't having fun. You were trying to do what you saw everyone else do. What do you want to do? And he started doing it, and he started playing games like Worms on his channel, and that caught on. He's he even admits, he says he's probably never going to be like a big YouTuber or anything like that, but now he's having fun with the channel. And I told him that's what it comes down to. And that's a great feeling that that you could help somebody or you could be influential, because you never know how that person on the other side of the screen views you.
Yeah, well, one thing my dad always told me, my dad's one of the wisest men I've ever known, and I'm pretty sure we all have that same sentiment about Daddy, right? It rang true with me throughout my teen years and even through adulthood. Anything in life that's hard to get is worth having. Anything, any kind of success that you have, you're going to go through many pitfalls and hurdles. In relationships, you got to go through a lot. If you want to be wealthy, you got to go through many, many failures until you reach that success. And that goes with anything in life. And the way I feel is consistency here on YouTube is probably the hard part. Because some days you want to just walk by the camera and go on about your business, but you got to stay consistent and you got to have fun. I honestly love doing it. I mean, I think this is actually put on earth for me. Because have you guys ever seen a black dude smile this much? I'm always happy. I love showing, game footage. I love getting in front of the camera talking about this stuff. And I want to just ride it out. I don't care what the end result is because I'm having fun. I love interacting with my subscribers. I love doing Beastly Thoughts. And Fig, I really hope you come back every week. You're very knowledgeable. You're very knowledgeable. You're a very good personality. You're a fun guy. You know a lot about games. And we'd love to have you, man. Anytime you want. Definitely swing through and,
Yeah,
we'll
thank you very much.
Yeah, man. That's an official Beastly Gamer. Welcome, man.
Well, thank you very much.
Epic. Yeah.
And I'm very happy that I was invited. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I
started working on you. What was it, Monday? I started sending you messages.
Yeah, exactly. When it comes to YouTube messages, I am the worst. Like YouTube PMs, like it's way better on Skype.
They totally hide them. They absolutely hide them.
Yeah.
There's no way to know that you got it unless you actually just go looking.
Yeah.
I'm happy that the man with the connections got to you. Had to put the mobster on that. So I'm really happy you did, BriarRabbit. This guy, man, he's awesome.
Oh, I knew you two would get along famously.
Yeah, it's great.
So should we wrap it up here?
I really don't have anything other than people still lining up to get PlayStation 4s at Best Buy 2 months after release.
It's either a really good sign for PlayStation or a really bad sign that they can't get their supply chain sorted out.
Yeah, I really do wish that Sony would step it up and get more systems out. I think that people really are holding out and waiting. The ones who can't wait and their mom and dad says either you get this Xbox One or you're not getting nothing. They're picking the Xbox. But this is actually on N4G.com. It says people still lining up to buy PlayStation 4s at Best Buy 2 months later. And every time they come in, there are people, they give out the release date that is actually going to be out, and when they come to work, there's lines of people at the front of the door.
Yep.
So, I mean, they want it first. That thing is really selling like hotcakes.
I'll tell you guys what, I watched the E3 press conference for the PlayStation 4, and I was at Best Buy about 10 minutes later. Or not Best Buy, GameStop, putting in my pre-order.
Yeah.
That's going to go down as like one of the more like memorable E3 moments ever. That press conference, and not even the whole press conference, just the end.
You know what? I was at work. I couldn't leave work. A buddy of mine had his laptop in the break room, and I came in there, and I was like back and forth watching Microsoft. I was like, oh, okay, well. And Kate was sending me texts telling me what was going on. And then when the Sony came out and they started to make their announcements, I swear to God, I felt like I was watching Tyson and Buster Douglas all over again. Yep. I was jumping up and down. It was like a fight moment. I felt all this energy rushing through me. And Sony they had like the power ring or something.
Yeah. And you know what's the best part about all that? When you look in retrospect, what did they really announce? They announced that they're doing nothing.
We're keeping things exactly the same.
Yeah. We're not gonna pee on your good time.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're just like Microsoft's like, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that and get this, and Sony basically said, what those guys are doing,
we're
not doing it, and everyone's like, yeah.
And did you guys?
And we're gonna charge you $10 from here on out.
Exactly.
Yeah. Charge you $50 a year.
Yeah, that's the best part. They snuck that in, but people were like, I don't care.
Yeah. They didn't care either. I didn't give a damn. I don't think I've ever heard the audience go insane at an E3 like that before.
Yeah.
And you have to think of it, E3 is mainly a media function. And I mean, there's some fans who go there, but really it's a media function. So most of the people there were media who were cheering, which is really weird.
Yeah. That's absolutely true. The guys are supposed to be taking notes, flipping chairs and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if it was PAX, that would have been completely expected, but not at E3.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we got a hell of a year coming, guys, and I think it's going to be great for everybody. The PS4, the Xbox One, the Wii No, and the Steam box. It's going to be a lot of things going on, and I'm just so happy that I was born in this century.
Yeah, this generation is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's all I've got.
Fig, if people want to find you on the internet, how are they going to do so?
Well, there's lots of ways to find me on the internet. Well, if you guys check out my lower third, it's you could go on YouTube and go to Figcoinc. That's also the name of my Twitter account is @Figcoinc, so you can find me there. Also, if you want to go on YouTube, you can find me two ways, either Figcoinc or at Digital Boundaries. That's the name of the actual channel. Make sure you go check out. And I say this to everybody so that it's not like a generic shout out that comes up to my channel. Check out my videos. If you like what you see, subscribe. If it's not your thing, you won't hurt my feelings because I know my stuff isn't for everybody. But if you do join, I'll be happy to take you, and I'll be happy to have fun along with you.
I gotta really recommend doing so because I really like his content, especially like Just One Life. I think that is a really great series.
Yeah, another one should be hopefully by the end of this month.
Great. Can we get a little teaser? What's it gonna be?
My thoughts. I'm split between two, but I'm leaning towards if you know fighting games, I'm leaning towards the famous Daigo Parry.
Oh wow! Can I make a suggestion?
What's the suggestion?
Now this is retro, but Just One Life. I love to see what you do. Kung Fu for Nintendo.
Just like you said, just not a certain thing, just Kung Fu.
No, Kung Fu for Nintendo, where you're in the white karate. Kick.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good suggestion as well. And that's how the Just One Life works. And well, I'll name all my series. I have like a few. It's the Just One Life, the Challenge series, the Retro Remix, the Review Play series. I got 2 Let's Plays, and just to show you how unique my channel is, I got a Let's Play of Game Dev Tycoon, a simulation game based on making your own video game company, and my other one is called Long Live the Queen, which the object is to make sure my cutesy little anime princess doesn't get assassinated.
Really? Hold on. Long Live the Queen. What is that on?
That's on PC. It's as indie could be. It's on PC. It's only like $10. Goes on sale for $5, a whole bunch. It's almost like one of those menu clicking games that you got to like pick the stats, and then like a scene will come up that is randomized. So it'll be stuff like, oh, the Duke of here wants to know what you're going to do about this, and all of a sudden you'll see a stat roll going like, she has no idea about like who this Duke is. And the Duke is like, oh, I want to take over this province. Should I do it? And all of a sudden it's like, should I let him do it?
Yeah, I like stuff like that. I like things that are totally unique, that are unexpected. You know, that's a really nice draw.
Yeah, and what's best about that game, that cracked me up, is that it's pink and flirty, and it's an anime girl with like feather dresses, but it's really dark. Like, people are getting murdered. It's like Game of Thrones dark.
Really?
But it's like
I like that kind of thing.
It's like Anime Princess with her special wand.
I've
the 13-year-old just got assassinated.
This might come as a shock. You just said that, and I know Kate's been telling me. I've never seen Game of Thrones. Is it worth watching?
Yeah.
That's a quick answer. Okay.
Yeah.
We just finished watching. What did we just get done watching, babe? With Kevin Spacey? Something Flag. I'm trying to remember. It's on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
What's the name of that show we just got done watching? House of Cards. I'm sorry.
House of
That's
Cards,
amazing.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Series.
Season 2 of that is coming out. I think February 14th or 18th, 28th.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I would say it's about on par with House of Cards, except it's all fantasy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
House of Cards blew my mind. So
Yeah.
I like fantasies. Oh, I'm talking
So
about.
Beasley,
the wrong kind of
what are
fantasy.
you up to this week? What do we got to look forward to from you?
PC elitist. No, all joking aside, I do want to give my PC a little bit of time. It's so new. It's ultra thin. It looks like 2 pieces of foil with a screen on top of it. And I'm going
I just caught
doing...
myself. I was going to say, well, hold it up in front of the camera.
That would be a neat trick.
I can't. But
aim it down so we just see the keyboard.
check it out. Oh.
No, we just lost him.
That is the best way to end this. He's probably so mad right now.
All right, Fig, it was really great meeting you. I hope we can have you on in the future. I recommend everybody go check out his channel over at Digital Boundaries. And this is the end of Beastly Thoughts Show. We'll see you guys next week at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday night. Thanks, Fig.
Hey, thanks for inviting me.
I'll never let you talk me into that again.